Hello, YouTube! Yo, Joe, it's time. 4 more figures today, and possibly there might be more incoming. Actually, that's not true. I do have something upstairs in the classified series, a little different from just the figures, but I also have some more figures on the way, just a couple. So we got 4 for tonight, and we will have another episode of G.I. Joe unboxing in the near future, probably next week around the same time, probably a week away. So, but today I got 4 figures for you. They are all on the bad side of the coin. Let's get started. First up, the generic Cobra Trooper. Now, these guys were like the original cannon fodder for Cobra Commander and his Cobra forces. They were the generic infantrymen that seemed to be endless supply that Cobra had to throw G.I. Joe's way. And you can see, like, Cobra's typical color was blue. That was the main thing. Like, Cobra Commander had that light blue uniform. These guys were all in blue. A lot of Cobra's vehicles were blue. Like, my favorite plane, the Cobra Rattler, was the same type of blue with the red Cobra logo on it. So the blue really played into a lot of Cobra's color schemes. So, and as the series went on, the color schemes got a little more zany when they introduced new characters and new ideas. But originally, things were pretty basic, and blue was a big color. So, but they had tons of Cobra Troopers, and basically Cobra Commander just recruited people that were disgruntled, upset with the world, upset with anything in their life that made them kind of go off the deep end and really want to get back at the world, sort of thing. So he recruited these types of people, and they were who became kind of the backbone of his army. Now, the Cobra Troopers were obviously infantry. They were the ones running into battle with laser rifles in their hand and blasting away. Usually they had other functions they could do as well. They were trained in other areas, but for the most part, they were basically the frontline cannon fodder for Cobra and its forces. So I saw this guy come up and he was on sale, and I'm like, well, I've got to get a generic Cobra Trooper. Like, that's essential for any collection, right? Because they're so prevalent in the G.I. Joe series. Even though they're not like a main character, they're everywhere, right? So I was like, yeah, I should get a Cobra Trooper. Now, they also have lots of other troopers as the show went on, all these different types of Vipers and stuff like that. I've seen some of them. They're not quite in my price range yet, but let's just say there's lots of other generic Cobra troops that I want to get my hands on. I just haven't been able to yet. But this is the original one, and I'm very excited to have him in the fold. Next up, we got, this is kind of a 2-for-1, and they are a 2-for-1 because they are twins. Which one's which? Okay, Tomax and Xamot, if you reverse their names, they're basically, Tomax spelled backwards is Xamot, so they are twins in every way almost. So Tomax and Xamot were called the Evil Twin Brothers, leader of the Crimson Guard. So the Crimson Guard was a brand of Cobra Trooper that came along into the series a little bit, who were kind of an upgrade over the generic Cobra Troopers. They were obviously war red. They were the Crimson Guard. And Tomax and Xamot were put in charge of that fighting force. Now, Tomax and Xamot were, what was it? The French Foreign Legion, I believe, is where they got most of their fighting and combat experience in. But you can't see it here, but Xamot has a big scar on the side of his face, and he almost died in some sort of skirmish, and the two of them kind of decided to maybe leave more of the fisticuffs and war games behind. They're both very sharp guys, so they ended up getting really big into law and finance. So they are like the side of Cobra that can present a legitimate front and argue and fight for Cobra on the more legal and right side of the law, even though they're complete pricks, right? So the Cobra Commander really valued these guys and poached them and brought them into the fold, and to to give them incentive, put them in charge of the Crimson Guard. And not that they never fought, they were actually involved in quite a few battles. And the most unique thing about them is that they have this weird kind of link. So if you punch Zaymot in the face, he doesn't feel it, but Tomax does, and vice versa. So that was kind of their most unique trait, is that, you know, you punch one, the other guy feels it, sort of thing. So they had this weird pain displacement thing towards each other. I don't know what it was, but they were very, very prevalent characters in the series, and I have their original figures from back in the 80s, and they were some of my favorite characters. I was never a bad guy kid when I was young. I was always like, oh, the good guys always win, and I love the good guys. And then as I got older, more kind of later on in high school and in through university, I really started to like bad guys. Like Darth Vader's my favorite character amongst everything. Even though as a kid, Luke Skywalker was my favorite, but that shifted in high school. I was like, Darth Vader's the fucking man, right? And so it was kind of surprising that I had such a fondness for these guys, because I wasn't like, the bad guys were just there to get crushed for me when I was a kid, right? They would always lose, sort of thing. So it was kind of funny that I liked these guys so much. But very unique characters. Enjoy them very much. And when I saw them come up, I had one of them in my cart, my Amazon cart, for a while because I couldn't find the other. So I kept monitoring things, and I made sure the one I had in my cart wasn't selling out until this guy came up, and then I ordered them both at once because I was like, well, I just don't want to get one and not have the other, right? So I had to have both because they're the evil twin brothers, right? Last up, another Cobra, kind of a Cobra guy. He's a Dreadnought. Remember the Dreadnoughts? Buzzer, Ripper, and Zorana. They're the ones that dwell in the Everglades swamps and are oftentimes aligned with Cobra, but they're their own entity. And if their purpose doesn't line up with Cobra, they're just as likely to tell Cobra to fuck off. But most times they do line up with Cobra's ideals, and they are very useful troops for Cobra when the battle begins and their schemes are put in place, sort of thing. So this guy is my favorite Dreadnought, and his name is Torch. So his real name is Tom Winkin, I believe it was. He's from Australia, and he's just kind of a big stooge. He's a dummy. He was a juvenile delinquent who eventually he joined some sort of the Merchant Marines or something like that. So he was involved in some sort of military for a while, and his calling card became his torch. He became very proficient with a cutting torch in order to scrap vehicles and fix vehicles and that sort of thing. And eventually he joined some sort of gang in Australia, which the Dreadnoughts eventually absorbed. So he became a Dreadnought. And these three, Torch, Buzzer, and Ripper, were kind of the backbone of the Dreadnoughts, who were led by Zartan. But those three were the main core Dreadnoughts under Zartan that did most of the action for the Dreadnoughts and made the most damage. And eventually Zorana and her brother Xandar came in, and there were some other guys. Monkey Wrench was a cool one. But they were the three main ones. And Torch is my favorite Dreadnought. I love him so much. And he adjusted his cutting torch so that he basically turned it into a flamethrower. So that's his main weapon when he goes into battle is this flamethrower that blasts flames at everybody. So he was actually not released that long ago. That's why he was the last of these three Dreadnoughts that I got, because he wasn't quite available yet. So I had my eyes on him, just like I had with Tomax and Zaymot, and was waiting for him to be released. So as soon as he was an automatic add to the cart, and complete order, please. Yes. So very excited to add him. Of these four guys, he's probably the one I'm most excited for, because I really, really, really love the Dreadnoughts, and he's my favorite of the crew. So makes sense. He's the one I'm most kind of proud of this bunch, even though I love them all. I love all my G.I. Joes. So anyways, let's get these four out of their packages and yeah, have a look at have a look at them up close and in person. Let's go.
Hiddly hiddly diddly doodly. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Meh. You're in my way, boys.
Cobra Trooper looks pretty cool. His hood comes off, or his helmet, so you can see their face and stuff. Or some of their face, anyways. And this guy's obviously a card back character, so he comes with one of the base stands, which, as you know, I go on and on about them because I really like them. Being able to stand the guy up is key. Alright, so he comes with a rifle with a nice big juicy scope on it. Can't miss with that thing. Oh, just give him a chance. He'll miss. Man. Smaller pistol there. Looks like a laser pistol. And then we got this one here, which has some sort of attachment on it. Interesting. Not sure quite. Looks like a silencer, actually. Which, I don't know why Cobra needs silencers. They don't really care about any chaos they create. They want people to know they are on the prowl and causing disturbances. I was thinking about watching the G.I. Joe series again. I bought them in like a burned DVD set on eBay years and years ago, and I watched through it and I was like, this is fucking awesome. It's poor quality though, because to buy G.I. Joe on an actual DVD releases back then was so expensive. You know, it's like season 1, volume 1, $80, you know? So you had to do that with multiple seasons. It was fucking insanity. Whereas I got this G.I. Joe set, not just the Real American Hero, but the DIC one and like a whole bunch of other shit. The movie, all for like $40 or something. Like, it was crazy. Quality's not as good, but you get a whole lot of bang for your buck, right? Oh, there we go. So there he is. The Cobra Trooper. We'll just put him on his little base here. Looking pretty slick. We'll get his little helmet on. There we go. Awesome. Looks like he's got a holster for the knife. And this one, or no, that's for the knife. Well, that's not a knife. This is a knife. I'm wondering if this is the one that goes in here. Or if maybe... Yeah. This is for the silencer? No, I'm not sure what's going on here. Nope, nope, don't do that. I'm not sure what that's for. But no matter. Obviously, I'm going to have him with the giant rifle, like, no question. All right, next we got Tomax. So this is the character that does not have the scar. And we'll see if they come with the exact same accoutrements. I believe they did when they were back their original toys, if I remember correctly. The only difference you could tell with them was the scar, right? That was the only way to tell. So he's got a little, kind of little dagger. Oh, he's got two.
2 daggers. Looks like a silencer attachment there. Ammo cartridge for the gun. And the gun itself. So let's see. Yeah, so there's where the ammo cartridge goes. Silencer. So that's his gun. And then he's got these daggers. Okay, so he's got one spot for a dagger here. And one spot for a dagger here. Yeah, so they're skilled fighters, but also kind of cowards when the tables turn against them, if I remember correctly. Kind of like Starscream in Transformers, you know, he's kind of a bitch when things go the wrong way. Yeah, so there is Tomax. And let's do Xamot. And just looking at the package, yeah, it looks like it's the exact same. The exact same attachments. His first Danger. Ammo cartridge, silencer, dagger, and gun. Xamot. So I don't know if you can see that, but boom, scar down Xamot's face. That's how you tell it's him. And their hair's parted on opposite sides. Like if you look at in the way that his sash goes that way, his sash goes that way. So they're kind of like mirror opposites of each other. So there were little subtle ways to kind of tell who was who. But other than that, they're essentially the exact same. Oops, yeah, other side, of course. And as a kid, I knew everything. Like, you could show me the figure without showing me the head, and I would know, oh, that's Tomax. Oh, that's Xamot. Like, I fucking knew everything. But that's kids, you know? Like, we just, when we're that young, our brains are sponges, and everything that we play with and use, we just intimately know. You know what I mean? Whereas now I couldn't tell you a damn thing. Like as a kid, I could go through all my G.I. Joe toys. You put the figures in one pile, put all their weapons in another pile, scramble them all up. I could go through them and go, yep, that's Airtights, that's Ace, that's Duke, you know, like no problem. And same thing for Transformers. Now, no fucking chance. Don't even make me think about it. I'll vomit, right? All right, this is the granddaddy I've been waiting for. Hard. What a beauty. Oh, yeah. Dreadnoks are so cool. They're like half bikers, half rock stars, all hooligan, you know? Okay, so they've obviously got... a couple different flamethrower attachments. He's got a couple of handguns which look to be the same. Dueling handguns. Dueling and then what's that one? So that's the actual torch. Here's the cord for it. And there's the back sack. The back sack. Meh. So, are the ends the same? It looks like it. So that attaches there. Oops. That attaches there. And there is his torch. And then he's got dual holsters here for his matching pistols. And then just gotta look at the yeah, they must all be all these flame attachments. Must be for the end here, so you can have a big like long rope of flame. You can have one kind of big fireball blast, and then you can just have like a little trickle, either maybe at the start or end of a blast, right? So yeah, so there is Torch, my favorite dreadnought. He stands up, he's balanced. Oh my god, beautiful, beautiful.
Not a bad collection, if I do say so myself. Once again, 4 massive hits with these figures. The Evil Twin Brothers I really like. Like I said, there's subtle differences. You can tell them apart, just the way their sash hangs, the opposite sides of the knives they have, you know, the way their hair is parted. So it's a really cool idea for a figure that you have these two guys that are identical with these minor differences, and then the link between their pain reception, and then the one guy has the scar and the other guy doesn't. It's just a really neat idea. And then their accessories are all the same. It's kind of a cop-out in a way, because it's like, oh, we just produced the same figure with a couple minor tweaks, and guess what? Double the revenue, right? But you know what? So be it. I bought right in as a kid. I'm buying right in as an adult. The Cobra Trooper is really awesome. Again, I love how he has the stand-up plate. His sniper rifle is amazing. There's so much detail on that gun. He has this little vest with not a vest, like this harness with a grenade on it, a knife, not that you can remove, but that are kind of detailed on there. And he's got these wrist gauntlets that are really shiny black. He's got a lot of little detail that I didn't notice at first, that I was looking at after. And the fact that he can remove his helmet and he just has his hood on is something really neat. As a kid, you're always imagining like, oh, I wonder what this guy looks like under there. So, but you know, back then there were more basic figures and you couldn't do that kind of stuff, right? But you know, they probably know what kids like, and so they're like, oh, when we produce these classified series figures that are a lot more detailed, you know, we can do stuff like that and people will appreciate it, right? And yeah, this guy appreciated it. Torch, of course, is my favorite. The detail of the chains and the studs on his jacket, his tattoos, the torch with the skull with the flames coming out of the eyeballs is amazing. His bandana, his hair, everything is, his weird beard, everything's right down to a T. His cool little necklace, which is actually, it's on there, it's movable, you can move it around a little bit. And then, of course, the torch accessory with the cord that attaches to it and everything. This guy's just bang on. The only thing I found confusing about Torch was with Buzzer and Ripper, they both came with sunglasses that you could remove, whereas Torch, his are part of the mold, like you can't take them off. So I thought that, not that that's bad or anything, like he's always wearing his sunglasses, but it's just kind of weird that they made the other two removable but not Torches, right? So now on the plus side, I think I've lost both of the sunglasses for those two guys, so I'm not going to lose these ones. I actually don't think I've lost them. I think they're down in one of my Rubbermaid bins when I moved. They fell and went to the very bottom of the bin. I know I saw one pair of them when I was unpacking, but when I went back to find them, I couldn't find them. So maybe I was looking in the wrong bin or whatever, but I'm pretty sure I still got them. I just need to go hunting for them, sort of thing. So, but anyways, 4 fantastic figures. I'm running out of space on the mantle. I might have to start staggering them front and back, sort of thing, to make them fit. But you know, that's a problem I will happily deal with. So in a week from now, approximately, we're going to get our last classified series video for the time being. It will be my last batch of toys I currently have, and it's going to be a really cool unboxing because there's something really neat and bigger than just the figures. And then there's, like I said, there's a couple figures on the way. Both really cool figures, but one of them especially is pretty fucking awesome. So I can't wait for that. So I will just leave you in suspense, just waiting for that video to be posted next week. So you're welcome, and I'm sorry. Bye.
Meow.